I was sweeping near the marble pillars when I heard her laugh sharp, practiced, meant to cut. Hey, look at him, Vanessa Cole said, her voice carrying across the ballroom like she owned the air itself. The janitor thinks he belongs here. Maybe he should dance instead of sweeping. Every head turned, the chandeliers threw glittering light across the marble floor, but I felt heat rise to my face. My gray uniform suddenly heavier than lead. I froze with the broom in my hands. Laughter spread, polite at first, then bolder as others followed her cue. In moments like these, you learn how quickly people love to join the winning side. She didn't stop. Vanessa tilted her glass, eyes gleaming. Tell you what, why don't we have a dance-off? Unless, of course, you're too beneath us for that. The crowd chuckled. Some leaned in, hungry for spectacle. To them, I wasn't a man. I was a joke waiting to happen. My chest tightened. I'd spend years cleaning up other people's messes, swallowing insults with silence, convincing myself that dignity meant staying invisible. But this was different. If I refused, they'd laugh louder. If I accepted, I risked giving them exactly what they wanted, a janitor stumble for their entertainment. The broom handle dug into my palms. For a second, shame burned so hot I thought I'd fold. Then something steadied inside me, a defiance I hadn't felt in years. Maybe I'd lose, maybe I'd humiliate myself, but I wouldn't be cornered like a beaten dog. I lifted my head and looked straight at her. Fine, I said, my voice low but carrying. Let's dance. A murmur rippled through the ballroom. Vanessa smirked, certain she'd already won, but the laughter that followed felt different this time. It felt like the fuse of something I could no longer keep buried. The DJ smelled drama and dropped something fast. Vanessa handed off her champagne, glided to center, and flashed a smile so wide it stung. She hit a clean 8-count sharp arms, private coach perfect. I set my broom against a pillar and rolled my shoulders. There was a time the music decided who I was, before double shifts. Before I pretended I didn't miss it. She spun, hair catching crystal light. Textbook tricks, clean, practiced, expensive, but the beat beneath the glitter kept asking, "Are you here?" I stepped onto the marble. A few chuckles followed. I closed my eyes, counted for bars. Found the pocket. Then I let my weight drop and slide, a slow melt into the rhythm like greeting an old friend. No tricks, just breath, shoulders, feet, truth. The floor hummed through my bones. My body answered, laughter thinned. I carved space with small circles, let them grow. Caught the downbeat with a heel, rolled it through my spine, snapped it out my fingers. The crowd shifted from amused to quiet. Vanessa came back harder, flip, smirk, hair whip for cameras. I answered with nothing flashy, a glide that skimmed, like fog, a lock that froze on the snare, a pivot landing where the bass dropped. I wasn't performing for them. I was talking to the song. When the chorus hit, I let go. I saw our old kitchen, my mother humming while I practiced on scuffed linoleum. Her clap on the one telling me to stand where I could be seen. I found that place again. In a room that thought it owned me, I finished with a step in, step out. Not that tall, the music, thank you. Silence held for a breath, then applause, messy, surprised, real. Vanessa tried to curtsy and stumbled. Instinct moved faster than pride. I caught her elbow. She stared like I'd switched languages. For a heartbeat, chandeliers and titles went quiet. Just a people and a beat that had ended. I let go and offered my hand. Dance with me, I said, not challenge, not mercy, just an exit from the trap she'd set for both of us. She hesitated, then took it. We finished together, no tricks, only steps. When it ended, the floor wasn't hers anymore. It wasn't mine either. It belonged to whoever showed up honest. Applause broke like thunder. I bowed my head, picked up my broom, and slipped toward the edge of the room. The crowd wasn't clapping for a janitor, they were clapping for the shock, for the story they'd retell tomorrow. I knew better than to believe otherwise. Vanessa stood in the center, cheeks flushed under the chandeliers. For the first time, her smile wavered. She'd been raised to never crack in public, but humiliation left fingerprints too deep to hide. I ducked back into the shadows where I belonged. By morning, I thought all of this would be forgotten. But I was wrong. Richard Cole, her father, called her aside before the last song ended. His face was granite, voice low but sharp enough to carry. You made a spectacle of yourself. With a janitor. His words sliced worse than any of the laughter had. I saw her jaw tighten, her nails dig into her palm, but she didn't fight back. She only nodded, chin dipped like a child scolded. The next day, the office buzzed. I heard it while polishing brass railings. Executives whispered about the gala, their voices bright with gossip. Vanessa Cole outdanced by the help. Someone snickered. He moved like he'd been waiting his whole life for that moment. Another added, she'll never live it down. I wanted to vanish into the mop bucket. Instead, I kept working, each word pressing on scars I thought healed. My body still remembered every time someone told me I wasn't enough to pour, too small, too invisible to matter. At lunch, two interns passed me in the hall. That's him, one whispered. The janitor who beat her. Their eyes carried something like awe. It didn't feel good. It felt dangerous. I told myself none of it mattered. I wasn't a dancer anymore. I wasn't anyone. I swept floors, emptied bins, and kept my head down. But gossip moves like fire through dry grass. Vanessa's name was ash before the week was over. While mine ironically was on people's lips for the first time in years. She stopped appearing in the halls. I heard she was working from home, repositioning her image. Me. I stayed exactly where I'd been, pushing my broom along polished floors, pretending the echoes of applause hadn't followed me into the silence. 2 days later we collided at a corner. My stack of packets burst, pages slid across the marble. Watch it, Vanessa snapped. Are you following me now? I knelt to gather sheets. Didn't see the corner, I said. You saw me at the gala, she said. You saw me fall. You made me look ridiculous. Do you know what that cost me? I squared her pages against my knee. I didn't embarrass you, I said. You embarrassed yourself. I just danced. The words landed like a dropped key. Her face flickered anger, confusion, then a trace of recognition. She softened a degree. You think you know me? She whispered, then stopped. I don't, I said. I know a room follows what it's taught. You taught them to laugh. The music taught them to listen. She drew a thin breath. My father says I made a spectacle of us. A bitter smile. He thinks you did it to him on purpose. Your father didn't dance, I said. Neither did I until you asked. We stood with our reflections flung in the glass. Thank you for catching me, she said. You're welcome, I said. Next time, choose someone you want to share a floor with. I handed her the stack. A paper cut stung. She noticed. Does it hurt? Only when I forget to look. She held my gaze, then walked away, and sure, if she was leaving or arriving,